Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. And you guys might notice that there's something a little bit different here on screen, and that's because I am away at my partner's mother's house. So I brought my mic with me. I did not bring my webcam with me, but you're going to see an empty box here in the bottom left-hand corner because that's where I should be, just so you guys know that I am still here. I have something very special that I want to talk to you guys about today because there was this new commercial for Raid Shadow Legends that just popped up, and I was wondering, like, what is this? It was like an Alice commercial. So I'm going to show you guys here on the screen. It was here on the Raid Shadow Legends channel called Alice Fair Game official commercial, right? These commercials are pretty good production value, I guess you could say, marketing. But at the very end, they actually gave away a brand new promo code legendary, and I was scratching my head a little bit and I was like, is this worth it? So we're going to be debating the merits of this character here today. You might have already seen it on the thumbnail, but we're going to be talking about it in relation to the ones that I normally would push here on the channel because I think they were better, but we need to talk about which one might in fact be the best. So before we get started with the rest of the video, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, what are you waiting for? This is apparently the best time to play with all these new promo legendaries coming out. Get an armor that returned, use the QR code in the top right hand of the screen, and also these three amazing epics to go alongside her. Allure, we got Tagore, and we got Ruella at account levels 10, 20, and 30. And normally, this is where I would plug Tholan Falbeard, but we need to talk about this champion, right? So let's jump back. I got the image. So it's this one here for Cheshire Cat from the Alice collaboration event back in January. They ran for a couple of months there, and Cheshire Cat was one of the harder to get legendaries from that time. It's I find it really peculiar and very interesting that they have this. So promo code Kitty Cut if you want to start a brand new account with Cheshire Cat. I do have Cheshire Cat, and so that's why we're going to be debating the merits of this in today and where I use him and how he compares to some of the other ones, because there are a couple other ones, including which I showed you, which was Tholan Falbeard, promo code Demon Slayer. But also there's another one that was just quite common and popular as well, which is going to be Tahanarak, a Void Legendary support champion, and her promo code is Desert Queen. I'm just going to run this really quickly because these are basically the three now top promo code legendaries that I want to discuss here in the video. So if you're making a brand new account, I would say choose one of those three, but we need to talk and compare basically which one is the best or what merits they have for a new player account. So that's something that I want to talk about here today. And I don't own Tahanarak on my main account, but I do have Tholan, who I use every single day, and Cheshire Cat, who I don't use in every piece of content, but is still pretty solid. So I actually have Cheshire here. Ignore that he's ungeared. I move my gear around. This is something pretty common that I do. And I actually have them fully booked. So sorry, actually, I don't. I'm missing one book. I can't believe it, actually. But I do use them in a lot of content. I use them in Grim Forest and things like that. In terms of the reviews, it's pretty solid. Top pieces of content for him is Arena, Faction Wars, Hydra, Campaign. I mean, he's pretty solid in places where you can... Spider's Den's pretty good as well, actually. But I mean, Tholan also gets a lot of reviews, which is why we kind of need to compare the two of them. Now, just to start, Cheshire does have this, right, which is really important. Cheshire Cat has an all battle speed aura of 19%. This is pretty solid because he can use this in every single game mode, whereas some characters are restricted to, say, Arena or something like that, right? That's really important as well. Now, I want to kind of go through his kit one by one, but I kind of want to go backwards. So his passive, Shadow Smile, which is on a cooldown of 3 for the active effect. If this champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil, turn meter fill effects are 30% more effective. So if you have any support characters on your team that do this, that he's going to get more out of that. Also, if this champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff, this champion's attack will ignore 15% of the target's defense and also inflict 15% more damage. So you always want to make sure that he has Veil. Now, he does normally get this from certain skills. Whenever this champion is about to receive a hit that would drop their HP below 20%, blocks the incoming damage, and places a block damage and Perfect Veil buff for one turn. So this is one way he can get Perfect Veil. His A3 is also another way that he can get it. So attack all enemies, but before attacking, he places a Perfect Veil buff on himself and a 50% increase attack. So he's going to hit really hard on this skill, and obviously that kind of goes into the passive here, where he's going to ignore 15% defense and do 15% more damage, and then he gets an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. So that perfect veil that he has for 2 turns, he can go, and I will want to go into the A1 first, because that allows him, as long as he's under veil, it doesn't AoE attack, which is incredibly powerful. He also gets perfect veil by using this skill. So in order for him to get perfect veil to start, he kind of needs to use the A3. And the only reason he's not able to do this basically every wave is because this might be on cooldown. So that's like the biggest problem there, because this is mostly the only way that he can get perfect veil. Unless you have some other champions that can put that up, which is possible as well. There are some champions that can. Now, I was thinking, I normally run this for more crit damage, this relic here, the Malefic Talon. But there is actually a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles relic, which I believe I might still have a copy of, Saint Xavier's Tribute, that actually has a chance to place a veil at the end of their turn, which might mean that if you use this one here particularly, that if you don't have the A3, if the A3 is on cooldown, that this would be a way that he can get veil. Like, I don't believe he needs to have perfect veil. It's just veil or perfect veil. So that would be a really good combination relic with him. And then his A2 is a triple attack, and then it decreases the enemy's speed by 1% up to 10%, but it doesn't work against bosses. So that's a small hit against his kit. But this guy is like a massive AoE damage dealer champion. He's a really strong nuker for demon spawn. So he's got a lot of things going for him. And I kind of just want to compare this, though, to some of the other characters, namely that I want to compare this to, say, Tholen Falbeard, because he's also a very strong DPS. And normally this is the one that I push for my promo legendaries, right? I think that this is really important. He is incredibly powerful because he also has an AoE A1, and this is not predicated on having Veil or anything like this. Like, it always does AoE damage. It's really powerful. Also has a weaken debuff attached to it as well. It grants an extra turn if he places a weaken debuff on all enemies by using this. So in wave content, if he lands it on everyone, or on boss content, if he just lands it on the boss, he can get an extra turn as well. So this is really powerful. He does an AoE on his A3 that also gives him an increased attack buff before doing this attack. So again, really powerful. He can also ignore unkillable and shield buffs in wave content and in like arena and things like this. And his A2 is also, which is why I really love him, because he ignores 25% of the target's defense. If it's a boss, he ignores 50%. So this is really hard. It also decreases their attack up to 25%, including on bosses, and increases his attack up to 50%. So Tholen over long fights is really, really good. And I think that Tholen is better for boss content than Cheshire Cat. So this is really, really tough, because I love Cheshire Cat, but I think Tholen still might be better. But I would love to get some input from other players that are curious. It's not that Cheshire's really good, and this is why this is so difficult for me to compare them, because it's just different. I think that Cheshire Cat is better for mid to late game content, but when it comes to a new player account, I think that Tholen is probably just going to outperform that, because for Cheshire to really shine, you need that perfect veil more frequently. And when you don't have books, like, this is fine right now at 4 turns, but without the books, without the legendary books, it's at 6 turn cooldown, meaning that you're only going to probably get this like once per fight, honestly, within wave content. So this is, yeah, I mean, if you don't have the legendary books lying around, he really needs them, especially for this to land into the A3 to get the reduction in cooldowns on this. So it's not something that's really easy to do for a new player, but he looks damn badass. I love Cheshire Cat so much. This is really interesting timing. I'm just not sure why they're doing this now, right? They had a promo, maybe even still have a promo, where you can actually get Alice the Wanderer. I'm not going to really talk about it, because her, without her perfect souls or red stars, really is not as good as Tholen. Tholen's just much better standalone. But there was a promo code called Get Alice, and so this has been out for a while. She was available for free in the Alice Chase back in January for a couple of months. I just don't know why they're doing this for Cheshire Cat now. Lastly, before we end, though, I do want to talk about Tahanarak, because I do bring her up from time to time, because she is probably the best promo code support. Just in case, I have the little clip again in case you guys forget. So using the promo code Desert Queen, I mean, she really is the best support legendary that you can get from a promo code. And this is probably second to the Tholen, depending on what your interests are. But this can really help you push your PvE content for bosses as well. Like her passive, she removes a random debuff from all allies at the start of each turn, which is amazing. Two, if they're under continuous heal, which she does do on her A1. And she has all the debuffs that you really need, right? She has decreased speed, which is really important in a turn-based game. We have decreased attack and block buffs, and she can also spread them to other targets. And then she's got a really amazing buffs here with increased defense and increased speed. So as far as supports go, she is one of the best. And why typically, besides Tholen, this is the other one that I personally recommend, because I think that both Tholen and Tanarak are going to provide the best sort of early game progression pushes for campaigns, for dungeons, for clan boss, all these things. And I just don't know if Cheshire Cat is really going to do that for you, but he is an amazing character nonetheless. And if you're interested in starting a new account, you know, hey, why not, right? You can check it out. So this is the promo code Kitty Cut for Cheshire Cat. If you want to make a new account or an alt account or whatever, you can do that here as well. So I'm just, yeah, curious timing. I don't know if this means something broader, if they're going to be doing something else, but I just wanted to share this with the community anyways. And let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Of course, before we go, if you want to make that new account with Kitty Cut, you can use the QR code in the top right to get Narma the Returned, recently reworked of Knight's Revenant, also amazing Clan Boss Destroyer, and these three amazing epics, Allure, Tagore, and Ruella at accounts level 10, 20, and 30. And so again, if you want to use this promo code Kitty Cut, you can do that as well. That's going to be it for now, everyone. And I'll see you guys all on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.